let me get back, is about setting seller appointments. So, like I said, I apologize for us opening this up after 10 o'clock because that was my opener. You know, we have an appointment for 10 and it's 10 and no, it's not. It's 10:13. So things happen and you have to be able to run. You have to be able to roll with it. So good morning, everyone. Again, trying to see who we have, who I know, who's familiar. I don't know if everybody has their screens on mute.
Good morning, welcome.
Welcome. My name is Rionda Pierre. I am new to our Gretna office, but I am not new to KW. I've been an agent for more than 10 years with KW for 8+, and I'm happy to be here. I'm a multi-million-dollar producer, which I believe many of us are, a capper, and I'm a child of God. You know, with KW, what I love most is they say God, family, business, and that's pretty much how I operate what I do. I put God first, my family is second, and I say that because as many of you know, I am a mother of quite a few toddlers. So I am in my bunker. I have my door locked, but if at any time during this presentation, since we're all working from home, you hear a knock on the door and I ignore it, I'm not a bad mother. They have their father and uncle downstairs, but I will pretend that they do not exist for our time period. So, and if you hear them having fun, which they are right now, and I continue, please ignore them. When I was asked to teach the subject of setting seller appointments, it's just like, you know, going to church. A pastor would say, they have to cut on you first, right? When you have to learn that material and it cuts you in order for you to be able to present it. So in learning this material and going through it, it kind of opened up some eye-opener experiences for me, some things that I needed to work on, and I needed to make sure that I have built in my systems in order to be able to share it with you. So this is a learning experience. We're all learning from home. And so I need some high energy. I don't know if you guys have your coffee. Woo! Everybody has their coffee. I'm so jealous. My Coke is downstairs and I refuse to go downstairs and get my coffee or my Coke because my kids will come in. So let's get to work without any further delays. So how many of us are new to business, new to real estate in general?
I am. Ashley.
Hi, Ashley.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Me too. I'm a little new.
Okay, Jimmy.
I am Gail.
Gail? Okay.
Yeah.
New to Keller Williams or new to the business?
I'm new to both, actually, yes.
Sweet. Welcome. Who else do we have that's new to both or new to either?
Both.
I didn't hear. Who was that? Hello? Yeah, I couldn't hear you.
Hello?
Hey, Tonda. Yes. Tonda. Okay, welcome. Who else we have? Brian?
Bree.
I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
I can.
Hey, Bree.
Hey.
So y'all know why I'm doing this, right? Because I'm gonna ask you a whole lot of questions because I'm gonna need some participation. So a lot of times in the previous sessions, you know, some of the instructors talked, we went through our PowerPoints, but I'm gonna need some feedback. I'm like Deidre said, you know, she likes to feel you, she likes to touch you. Well, I'm kind of the same way. So I'm gonna need to hear your voices. A lot of this presentation is also scripts. And I think that's one of the reasons why I was asked to do it is because scripts are very important in all of our businesses. We have to internalize a lot of this so we can feel comfortable moving forward with sellers. So anybody else has taken Ignite or Bold before? I know Ms. Joan, you have. Kim,
Yes, I have.
Kim, I know you've been in Bold. Renee?
Yeah.
How many other Bold members do we have?
I've been in bold.
Okay, Miss Karen. Bold. So some of the material that we're going to learn in this lesson is a little bit different from what they teach in bold, but we're going to roll with it. But all of it is great information. And a lot of you have been faithful to Ignite and learning a whole lot of information. And just like bold, I'm sure it can seem like an overload. So my advice would be to focus on what's most important. Master, I won't say master everything, because it definitely will be impossible for, Mr. Jimmy, Bree, Ashley, when you're first getting into it. So don't get overwhelmed, but find the things that produce the most and what you're most comfortable with, and strengthen those things. And what Keller Williams teaches a lot is, we know that the L's, the leads, listings, and leverage. So one of the main things that we're going to focus on today is, and you've seen this slide over and over, how to grow our business and run our business. So a lot of the presenters have talked in depth about these segments in the previous classes. Today we're going to focus on how to make a listing presentation and get the listing. And I am,
Hey, click share.
oh,
You're good. You're good.
click what?
So go to share screen again.
It went off.
I don't think we see it. Does anybody else see? No.
Do y'all see it?
No.
No.
Okay. All right. So much fun.
Technology. Woohoo.
Renee, you on the beach?
Of course. Of course
In
she's
my
on the
mind.
beach.
In
Of course
my
she's
mind.
on the beach.
One day. soon.
California dreaming, huh?
Oh no, I'll take Florida dreaming.
Oh, wow.
It's a lot closer.
Yes.
All right. Share screen.
There we go. Good job.
What are you seeing?
Yeah.
There we
you see,
go.
I see the screen.
Which
Much
one?
better.
I see everything.
You
Do you
can,
see all of this good stuff too?
yeah. So just you see by the X out of the PowerPoint, just make
How
it.
about I do this? Do you see all of this too?
Yep.
Oh, told you I had everything up. I was ready for y'all. What about that? Does that
There we
make it
go.
better?
Yep.
All right. So y'all see this?
Yes.
Now, how can I see what you see, Katie?
It should be on your screen.
What I see on my screen is everybody, and to the top it says, it's a green screen and it says stop share.
Is there like a little box in the right corner that has that you can click, and it'll say gallery view, speaker view?
It's fine. It's fine. We'll just run with it. So, y'all see what we'll focus on today, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll go with that. So what I need from you guys to get out is do y'all have the application, the participants manual handy?
Yes.
Besides Renee, does everybody have your participants handy?
Yeah.
Okay, do y'all have your scripts?
No.
The element
Yeah.
scripts?
I don't have that either.
Where is that?
I'll send it out in another email to everybody that's on right now.
Okay.
Check it in.
So I just wanted to make sure everybody had what we needed. But if not, I'll be able to manipulate the screen and pull it up and make it kind of easier, and we'll see how that will go. So today, like I said, we're going to focus on making the seller listing presentation and getting listings. We'll provide like the basic knowledge of what we need to get started. So we're going to look at what sellers want. We'll look at the ways in which they go about searching for agents, the conversations that we have with them, what to do before the appointment, The best listing appointments are a continuation of conversations that we've already had with sellers. So some of these things could have started for me. Let's say my basketball, I coach basketball, and one of my parents started asking me about real estate. We kind of started, digging deeper, found out that, his mom was an agent. And then 2 months later, of course, he's looking to list his home and he's texting me. So these things are continuous conversations from us talking to somebody at the gym or meeting someone at a door knock or at open houses to find out what their motivations are. We're going to look at what to do before the appointment in order to get that, how to do the pre-listing package, and then to land the deal, setting the appointments, and actually getting us into the door. So we'll understand the expectations for a successful listing appointment and know where to find the resources. So I'll try to show you as well if I can get back to the other screens. So according to NAR, we know that sellers are, I'm gonna try to move my screen. I wanna focus on a couple numbers. Majority of sellers find their realtor from where? If you're looking at the pie chart.
Referrals.
Friends, family.
Referrals from a friend, a neighbor, or relative. 39% of all of the listings have been referred by a family member, a neighbor, or a relative. The next big chunk is 27%, and that is from where?
Previous agents.
Yes. Do y'all see how important relationships are right there?
Yeah.
Just those two combined. And then if you look at these, you can add those up. Those are from like open houses. Those are from people, that we've talked to at gas stations, but it's a low percentage of the huge chunk of listings that are on the market. And this next one is the 22%. The 22% is other. And who thinks they know what the other would be?
Probably for sale by owners or expireds.
Online.
Yes. Where else? Y'all been in Ignite?
The sale signs.
Your car logo.
Yes. So when you look at that, it's 22%, and I can't see everybody and who's commenting, and I wish I could, but social media, like Ms. Renee said, the for sale by owners, the open house signs, putting a sign out in your yard, you can still pick up those buyers. So I'm not going to say don't spend a lot of time on the 3, 4s, and 5s, but remember how I opened? When we actually look at the chart, I was focusing my time before on making sure that my website was perfect. I was focusing my time making sure that, I was not necessarily going out there and recruiting, but I wanted my back office to be nice. This is where your money is. Your money is in relationships. So when we did the example or Ignite on database and database management, you have to make sure that you continuously feed your database by the people that you know. Make sure that you go through your phone, like for new agents, call your family members, call, your friends. These are people you know. They want to hear from you anyway. And now with COVID, it's the perfect time to make those calls and say, hey, I'm just calling to check in on you. How are you doing? Are you working from home? And then once you ask them about where they're working, if they're working from home, they're going to in turn turn it to you. Are you still working? How's the market? Absolutely. I'm working. Things are different now. We're working virtually. Open houses are done virtually. However, homes are still selling. In fact, I listed a home on yesterday. Do you know anybody that's looking to buy a home, sell a home, or invest in real estate, at this time? And so you just start that conversation and build rapport with people but just checking in on people, y'all. Right now is the best time to build those relationships, and then it'll become a pipeline through your business. So any other comments about what you think this data tells you about the importance of building relationships to get listings?
I will say, Brianna, it's funny that you should say that. I don't know. I just had a aha moment this morning, probably actually in listening to James Shaw this morning. And I realized like every day I am on a chat with my family members, and it's like over 10 of us on a chat every morning, you know, throughout the day, just checking in, keep everybody staying abreast, making sure we're all okay. And this morning I realized, I was like, you know what? This is opportune time. I just sent in the chat where all of my family members send me their addresses, right? And their email addresses. Somebody responded back and say, what do you need that for? And yeah, what I'm going to do is write care letters.
Yep.
And write care letters to each and every one of them. And some of them are out of state, some are here, but I'm going to send out care letters to all of them. And so, which is, you know, they're going to find that pretty strange, but like right now, like the more I put myself out there on the market and the more they start to see, oh, Kim is really serious about her business, right? The more they're going to want to rally for me, and they know lots and lots of people out there that are looking to buy. And what fine thing is to have your family members say, oh, you know, you need to get with my sister, right? Or you need to get with my aunt, or you need to get with my cousin, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That is awesome, Kim, because I'm sure that kind of gave us some ahas. You know, ask your family members what their addresses are. The same way, you know, if you're having a wedding, you'll send out a group text and say, hey, what's your address? Because you're sending them an invite. Well, send something of value. When you said that, I thought about, you know, getting cards, you know, funny cards, humorous cards from Walmart or something like that, and just mailing those out. You know, hey, just call and check on you. I thought you'd find this funny. You know, if you know their personalities, just a different way to check in with your people. Thanks, Kim, for sharing. Anybody else has any ahas from looking at that chart? Would you be surprised to learn that 75% of sellers only contact one agent? 75% of all listings only contact one agent. So like Kim said, if your family doesn't know that you're serious about your business, then would you be that person that they contact to represent them? People that's closest to you, one agent. 15% talk to two agents before they select one. Simple math. 75 plus 15 is what?
90.
90% of all listings contact less than two agents. 15% contact two, 75% only have one. So we need to make sure that we are top of mind. And how you gain that is not necessarily by saying, I'm an agent, I'm an agent, I'm an agent. But people want to know that you care. You care first about them. And then you care about, once you care about them, their needs, their interests, then you care about making them and netting them the most money for their property. You're going to go to war for them. You're going to fight for their interests and their needs. So last question, how important do you think it is to make a first impression with those sellers?
Critical.
How they say first impressions are lasting impressions?
Yes, and seeing that 39% of them contact only one, then you want to be that one person, that one agent that they talk to.
75%.
Yeah.
75% is based off of that first impression, well, you know, that one agent. And then,
Well,
yeah, I know what you meant, but 39% is a friend or a neighbor or a relative.
Referral, yeah.
Yeah, so if you just work on that, then you'll have top of mind. It's easier. Just making it easier. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's easier if you just focus on the people that you know, your friends, that love you, your relatives that should love you, and the neighbors that are around you. You know, talk to your neighbors. All right, moving on. So what does a first impression look like? Besides being professional and friendly and likable, sellers have specific objectives that they're looking for that you can help them achieve. So what do you think? Knowledgeable.
Knowledgeable about the area, knowledgeable about, not necessarily their home, but the homes in the area and the community.
Be a neighborhood expert. Okay. What else?
Someone that's reliable.
Someone that's trustworthy. Somebody that's relatable and reliable.
And also good communication.
Yes, communication is key. If you tell them that you're going to call them back in a week, or you're going to have weekly appointments, make sure you stick to those weekly call-ins, because they will definitely wait on you and call you out if you miss it. What else? What do sellers want? Answers on the screen.
That's great.
Sellers want you to be able to market their home. Yeah. So in Ignite, we learned how to market properly. Property. Keller Williams has made it easy for us through Command. If you've been with KW for a long time, or as long as we have, we've seen how KW, I love that we're a technology company, but we've kind of transitioned through several interfaces with our marketing, right?
Yes.
So I know that for some of us that are seasoned, it's kind of hard to learn something else that's new. However, play with it. Still go in the back office. Katie walked us through, was that yesterday or a couple days ago, about how to pull it up in Designs? Do y'all remember how to do that?
Oh yeah.
I know, Miss Renee, you do. Because
Yes.
you're teaching. Okay. Well, I'll show you a little bit later because we're going to do a listing presentation. But I just want to make sure that we're familiar. But a lot of sellers, they want someone to help them market their home, help them sell in a specific time frame. So when you start to do your pre-listing calls, you're going to ask them, how long do you need to get there? Or what's prompting your move? And they say, oh, well, I need to get to Florida by my granddaughter. I would like to get there, before she graduates or before the summertime. You're going to check their motivations. And then you're going to remind them of those motivations after you get the listing or at the listing appointment. They say, oh, I want to, test the market at a higher price. You'll be able to go back to those motivations and remind them, well, didn't you say you wanted to get to Florida before she graduates? Although it's a different time frame, so I don't know how they're doing graduations. But those are the things that sellers are looking for. Help them to price competitively. So like you said, Ms. Ramona, being a neighborhood expert, you want to know what the market is saying and what the numbers are. Some of them are looking for help to fix up their home so it can sell for more. And that would fall into the lines of staging. And help them find a buyer, which I thought was pretty interesting that it was only 13%. That's what they say. So just because they only 13% say that they need help finding a buyer, and other the 11% would be, negotiations or paperwork. Just because they say that only 11% of sellers say that that's what they need help with, that doesn't mean that it's not important for the entire process. They just voice the things that they don't or they expect from their real estate agent. So it's good to have communication with them up front to know what their expectations are for their agent, especially for expireds, to know what that agent did not do for them prior, so you can meet and exceed their expectations. Anybody has any questions or ahas from this chart?
No.
Moving on. So what do you know about the process of converting a lead to a listing? What tools have we learned about so far?
The pre
The pre-listing questionnaire, I'm reading your lips because I can't hear you.
Oh, the pre-listing questionnaire, because it gets you those motivations, the things that you were saying. It lets you know when the when the seller needs to do whatever they need to do, what their expectations are, and it helps you address those challenges.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Do you guys have your pre-listing questionnaire every time you're making that phone call? Do you have it right there, or are you going off the top of your head?
Pretty
I
much.
will now.
Good. What else? Anybody else?
Getting the appointment, huh?
Okay. What else have you learned about converting a lead to a listing?
Oh,
Come on, y'all.
Okay, so
Getting an appointment. Ma'am?
That's saying it's all about the follow up and the consistency, right? And the prospecting.
Yes. Yes. So when you have a lead that has expressed interest in selling their home, you know, there are a few steps that it'll take in order to convert that lead to a listing. You want to, excuse me, send them the pre-listing questionnaire, schedule that appointment, send the pre-listing packet. Anybody sends out a pre-listing packet to those leads?
yes.
Who says yes?
I said yes when I have an appointment. I try to send things ahead of time so that they can read over it prior to me getting there.
Awesome. Awesome. You want to create a listing presentation. And then ultimately, when you get there, to be able to walk through their house during that appointment. So you can find the things that will stand out in that house for your marketing.
With the new world that's about to open up to us, what do you recommend for virtual, digital? You know, I know we can email various things or whatever, but here with the home walkthrough, with the listing presentation, what would you recommend or suggest?
Virtual. A lot of times, because at the end of the day, the sellers are looking to us to be the leaders in this industry. And now we have a crisis on top of kind of a crisis. So what I recommend when I talk to sellers, you know, we are doing things differently now. We're doing virtual appointments. We're doing virtual open houses. So pictures are everything, because pictures, photography, video sells homes. So what I've done is that I've partnered with a photography company, professional photography company, that's able to come through your home to take pictures, 360 videos, and we can put that online for the buyers, because we have more buyers sitting at the computer nowadays looking at these pictures than coming to your homes. However, as far as if you're asking about seller listing appointments, we can do that online. One I had walk me through his house before I even got out there, so I can know whether or not I even want to take the listing.
Okay.
The pre-listing questionnaire is very important to establish their motivations on, are they looking to sell it? If anybody is calling about real estate now, they're absolutely motivated and they want to sell their house or they need to sell their house. So check with their motivations. So virtual appointments, as many as possible initially, but then set yourself up as that virtual real estate expert, because Redfin, Open Door, they're all dropping that iBuyer. They're not buying homes now through that process the way that they were before. So now we are that resource. We're that resource that can go into the home and make sure that when the homes are being shown, we're letting agents know to wipe the doors, or telling the sellers, we need to wipe your doors down, wipe your outlets down before you show the property. And we can be that connection between the agents and the sellers versus anybody walking through your home. You know, as a for sale by owner, you don't know who they are, if they're pre-qualified. The same problem scripts that we've used before are even more so relevant now in the age of COVID. So virtual is what I promote.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. So you can email. I know you mentioned before that you'll email your pre-listing packages to the home so they can fill out as much information as possible. But a lot of that is, you know, what we're doing, communication through email.
So I will say, Rihanna, too, on one of the sessions that I was listening to, I don't know if it was Nick Baldwin or one of the other MAPS coaches, but there are agents out there that are actually, they do the virtual presentations, and they're also getting clients to sign listing documents like right there on the spot virtually, right?
Yes.
So somehow, you know, they're like uploading the documents and they can actually walk the clients through the process, right, of actually getting them to sign documents like right there on the spot.
Wow.
I'd like to get there. I'm trying to figure out, you know, how they uploaded the documents to be able to, you know, operate the Zoom and then have them to do all of that virtual. So that's my direction from this point on. I mean, I would say like about a week ago, it just really started clicking with me. And it was in one of the sessions, and a gentleman was saying that the virtual world, we knew that it was coming, but it has arrived sooner than expected.
Yes.
It is not going away, right? And for people who are not jumping on the bandwagon, if you're not on it at this point, he says you're really already behind the 8 ball. But for the agents who don't jump into the virtual world, they're really going to be like left out of the game. And so we got to get into that virtual world, right? We got to jump into it. It just seems like for some, it might feel like it's a little intimidating, right? Because it's a lot to learn, a lot we need to grasp. But I decided about a week ago that I'm gonna just take my small steps and I'm going for it, right? And just as I learn, just continue to progress my way through it. So we gotta get into that virtual world. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Ms. Kim.
Mm-hmm.
That she's absolutely correct. You know, I think I'm grateful, and I said that before, you know, there are a lot of companies who are kind of getting into the tech side of it, but we've already been introduced. So we have a lot of tools already within command, within our back office that we can use that can help us not to have to recreate that wheel. But on the flip side, like just these Zoom conversations, you know, it's a learning curve, but we have to be willing to jump in and learn as we go. Like you said, if not, then we will be left behind. So any other ahas, any other questions? Okay. So before the appointment, and that's why I say, you know, with the sellers, they can do virtual tours. There's FaceTime, there's Skype, you know, through their houses to kind of give you an idea of what you're getting into. We did the pre-listing questionnaires before where we talked to them, you know, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your home? What would make it a 10? But now you actually need to see that before you take that risk and, you know, go over there. Would you agree?
Yes.
Yeah, we're not trying to go out there for everything and anything. Now is time for us to be, to ask those questions, those hard questions up front, you know, so we can know whether or not it's worth the risk, if they're gonna price their home properly, or are we going out there for nothing, you know? So before the listing appointment, you'll do far more listening than talking. You know, you need to hear what they're saying, what they want, what they're looking for, so we can meet the needs of the sellers. And we can't know if we don't listen, right?
Correct.
So we have to show that we are more attentive and interested in them by giving them time to tell their stories. How can I say this? When you start making these calls, especially now, you'll find it's harder and harder to get people off the phone, right?
Yeah.
People are talking about everything. You know, it goes from talking about their house to talking about, you know, how it is being inside. There's a mental, when I say a crisis on a crisis, you know, there's mental health issues that, you know, we're looking at. And sometimes as agents, we have to stay focused on helping them meet those needs, but also be compassionate enough and understanding enough to know what they're going through, to be able to effectively sell these homes. So stay focused, but listen and be there for them, because we're constantly building these relationships. So in Spark, we talked about identifying A, B, and C sellers. Who can tell me what it means to be a C seller?
They just not ready yet. They kind of like down the line.
Okay. Let me reverse it. What's the A seller?
Well, that's someone that's ready to get it on the market. The motivation is high.
Okay. How soon?
Like
Right now. Well,
Okay.
you know, within the time that it takes you to do all of the prep work to get the listing up. So right now might be a week or 3 days, depending on, you know, how your experience as an agent or your resources. But right now, meaning now.
Okay. Let me see if I can pull in some more, because all I have is 4 people. Did everybody else leave the call? Gail, y'all still there?
Oh,
Here.
yeah, you got a lot of people. You got
I'm here listening.
Okay, I only hear like 3 people that's helping me out, so I'm trying to get everybody involved. I know y'all probably on your phones, mute me.
Rihanna, join the world.
I feel like I'm working from home, so I can't really participate like I'm supposed to. So I can only listen versus actively participating, and this is rude.
Oh, okay. No, it's not a problem. I'm just trying to make sure that we're all still up and we're not sleeping on me because I don't have my coat. So anybody that took the sellers, I think it was the seller, what was it? Seller master.
God bless.
I'm sorry? I'm drawing a blank.
Say that again, Rihanna.
From Ignite, a couple days ago, the seller, it was a seller's class. I know it from Seller's Mastery, but can anybody tell me the specific time frame for a seller? How many days?
Is it 30?
Close. If you know your A, B, and C buyers, you know, it's the same, it's very similar. But an A buyer is somebody that's looking to, I'm sorry, let me reverse it. An A seller is somebody that is looking to sell their home within 14 days. So close 30, 2 weeks. So they're looking, like Ms. Ramona said, within 2 to 3 days, they are ready to go. Like Ms. Jones said, they're motivated. They're calling you like, yeah, you know, I really need to sell my house, relocating job for whatever reason. But that's how you determine what order of priority you're going to give your attention and your time to. So a buyer is somebody that's looking to sell or do business within the next 14 days. So how long do you think we have for those B sellers?
Probably like,
I'd say 30 to.
I was thinking like 1 to 6 months or 1 to 3 months.
Okay. 2 months.
2
That's
months?
all we're giving them. That's all we're giving them.
Okay.
So 2 months. So anybody that's looking to sell a home between 15 days and 60 days, those are going to be our B sellers. So you might not call them every day. You might not call them every week, but you know that in 60 days, they're ready to list or get their home ready. So when might you start reaching back out to them?
You probably want to do them at least once a week.
Right, that's what I was going to say. You probably need to just follow up once a week. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else? Well, once a week is good. There's no right or wrong answer. But once a week, just to say hi, just to see if they're progressing and getting their home ready for listing, and to check in with them. So our C sellers would be someone who obviously is ready to do business in 2 or more months. So there will be your 3 months, your 6 months. I'm waiting until the summer before I put my home on the market. So you might only check in with them, once a month, once every 2 weeks, just to say hi, to see if their timeline has changed any. Right. So our pre-listing goals. Once you've pre-qualified that seller and you found out whether or not their expectations are, realistic and their timeline is realistic. And when I say that, especially with COVID, when you're having these conversations with sellers and they say, oh, I'm going to wait until summer to list my home, then you dig deeper. Why is that important to you? Well, we know school is not an issue for most people. Well, maybe, they're buying another house out there, or what could be another reason why somebody would put off 2 months or, 6 months to sell their home.
They may want to make repairs or have some work done.
Okay, that's good. What are some other reasons?
Right now, it could just be fear. Not knowing what, when are we going to be freed up to move about, or is it going to actually reduce their opportunities if they wait?
So if someone says that, they're waiting because they don't know what the market is going to do, what would be your response to that? They're afraid, they're not sure.
What if
Well, you use the current stats to demonstrate to them what is happening,
Right.
and what properties are being sold.
Right.
So you give them confidence through current activity.
Yes.
And you do that virtually. Let them see that if you're having that virtual meeting with them, let them see it virtually, what the stats are dictating at this particular time. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because we don't control the market, and that's pretty much the response. It's just like buying a stock. We might buy a stock today for X amount of dollars, but in 2 weeks or a month, especially now, those stock prices change.
Mm-hmm.
It's very similar.
One of the things I do right now is I send out that CMA summary as a touch, especially to the B and C buyers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, B and C sellers, just let them know so they can see, how prices are, days on market, all those kind of things that resonate with them.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. So once we've pre-qualified the seller and we have scheduled the listing appointment and we send them the pre-listing packet, how many of you have a pre-listing packet? Let me reverse that. How many of you do not have a pre-listing packet or know where to find it? So everybody has a pre-listing packet?
Yeah.
I don't, but I know where to find it.
I haven't really had to use it, but I have it handy if I need it.
Mm-hmm.
What about the new agents? Do y'all know?
I don't have one, but I'm more than
I know where it is.
Get one.
So those of you that have it, do you use it? I know, Ms. Joan, you do.
yes.
Anyone else uses it?
Yeah, I use the pre-listing packet. Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. It's
Mm-hmm.
they have one in your Ignite toolkit, and also in Designs. It's a great place to start. So you can look at that pre-listing packet. Don't overthink it. For you design perfectionists, use what they have, and then on the last page, kind of add your value in your tweak, and it's just more information to give them. And like Ms. Renee said, you can put the COVID stats in there, the CMAs, to let them know that even during this time, homes are still selling. So the reason why we use the pre-listing packet is because it states your value. So I would encourage everybody to make sure that you send over virtually, Ms. Kim, your pre-listing package, because it kind of reinforces who you are to them. It states your value, how you will do business differently than, other agents, but then more specifically detailed to the needs that you've picked up in the pre-qualifying packet. It also builds their confidence in you and who you are. It answers some questions in advance about pricing their homes to sell and not sit. And it kind of eliminates some of those conversations that you might have with a seller for your actual listing presentation. So it'll save you some time in the long run. So what are the biggest questions anyone would have about selling their home?
What is it valued at in today's market, or hopefully today's market, and how do you see the market trending?
Absolutely. What are some of the other questions you think that sellers would have when you
How
call
soon can you sell my home?
time frame?
Do you think that this is a good time for me to put my property on the market?
Or what marketing strategies do you have in mind?
Absolutely. So all of those questions you want to be able to answer before you get to that listing presentation. So I don't necessarily give them everything. I just isolate some of those things. So what the market is doing, I might give them that, but I'm not going to give them the price per square foot. I'm not going to give them all of those stats. I'm just going to say, in this time frame, do you know that we have sold 27 homes during the time that COVID started in this zip code? So they'll know that, guess what? I've been waiting to put my home on the market, but homes are still selling in my area. So there's a way for you to pull up the hot sheets on the MLS. You can do it by zip code, or you can do it manually like I've done. I'm trying to see if I can. Oh, look at that. So what is in your pre-listing packet? See, it says, oh, how does a pre-listing packet save you time? Do y'all have page 6 in your manual? Answer questions.
I didn't look.
Yeah, I know. That's why I asked her.
Let's see.
This is where I'm going to.
Page 6, it says, remind them you are in real estate. That's what this Ignite Spark script book says.
That's what it says?
Doesn't.
All right, let me see. And this is where I'm going to cringe because I'm taking this off. Can you still see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So now I have to go back in my head.
Well, that was under the scripts, so I'm not sure. Let's see.
Here it is. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know how you can ignore everything else that's in my head. Because my whole screen is everything that I have open, and I want you to see this. Can you see my cursor?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Pre-listing goals.
Yes.
Mhm.
So your pre-listing goals, you're telling the seller what?
Their value, the company value, telling them a little bit about both, yes.
Okay. And pre-selling, you're building seller. Trying to make sure y'all listening. You're building seller
Confidence,
Confidence.
and answering.
questions.
Objectives,
Mhm.
questions.
Yes. Because the next one, you save time by answering
Questions,
Objections up front.
objections
the
up front.
objections up front
Mhm.
before the appointment.
Mhm.
All right. So let's see. I'm trying to do 3 things. I might have to minimize you guys so I can get back to the PowerPoint. So the pre-listing toolkit, have y'all looked through that pre-listing toolkit? Pre-listing. If you don't have it, I'm pulling it up for you.
Okay.
All right. Can y'all see my screen?
Yes,
Did it make it bigger?
yes.
Now we're-
Yes.
All right. So the pre-listing toolkit is the guide to selling your home. So this is pretty much what it is and what you will be sending over to the seller. It's all about you. Real estate is built on one guiding principle. It's you. A lot of the things that we had mentioned in conversations is taking time to understand their wants, needs. I don't want to necessarily read everything because no one's illiterate. However, the things that are in bold are things that you have already said naturally. So this is something to reinforce to the sellers that this is our value proposition. This is who we are, and this is what we do as agents. But they have this in writing in front of them prior to us actually doing a listing presentation. So we're taking time to understand them. This is the listening part, and not just talking. We're going to help them get the highest possible price. So in order to do that, we have to know the market. We have to know the statistics. We have to know what homes are selling for in the neighborhood, in the area, in the parish, however many miles around their house. Pricing, and so advising on pricing and staging. What sellers want, it goes back to that slide. A lot of them want to know what can they do to improve their homes. So Ms. Ramona, when you said that sellers may say, oh, I'm gonna put my house on the market in a couple months because I have to do some repairs. Well, what are those repairs that you're doing? Because there's some repairs that a seller will make that a buyer will not care about and will not add value to their home. So before you dig deeper and say, okay, well, what are some of the things that you're looking to improve in your home? Are they things that you would want, or are you doing this to help it sell? Now, if you have a hole in your wall or something like that, then yeah, you may want to fix that. But if you're trying to, change the tile, in the floor, well, you might want to offer a flooring allowance unless you have carpet that stinks, and I would not stop you from changing your carpet. So the second page is what would they do to get their home ready to list?
Declutter.
Yes. Staged homes sell much better than homes that are not staged. And for decluttering, what are some of the things that you guys recommend? How do they declutter?
Well, I recommend, I have a brother who's getting ready to sell. He lives in Houston, and they have a lot of family photos throughout the home. And I told him, I said, but they have artwork as well. And I said, go ahead and start taking the kids' pictures down, picking up the toys, because they got a little one. And that's a way that they could start, especially right now. They're home from work. When the kid, they're still taking the kids to daycare. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, get started, start packing.
Kids are still going to daycare over there?
Oh, yes, yes, but they take their temperature and they monitor them every day, all day actually. They do it all day. But yeah, and it's just I don't know how many schools, but this one is right down the street from my brother's house, and the kids have been going there since they were 6 months old.
Oh,
You know what I
wow.
mean? So it's not quite family, but it is in a way.
Yeah. Okay. Someone else was talking. What are some of the things that they recommend sellers do to declutter?
I think Renee was about to say something.
Yeah, I'll just remove some of the bigger pieces of furniture that kind of make it less roomy.
The flow of the house, base. Yeah.
For
Okay.
sure. Yeah. And
Okay.
basically make sure it's clean. Make sure the windows are clean, the baseboards are clean. Those things make a big, big difference.
Yes.
So clearing the kitchen counters, you know, and the refrigerator with the travel magnets, you know, from different cities, countries, or stuff like that, or whatever. So
Yeah. So now in the age of COVID, have them do a walkthrough with you first. Like say, oh, you know, turn the camera that way. You know, I want to see, you know, every part of your house. Your house is beautiful. You know, I don't want to miss anything. Can you please, you know, show me that room? You're an agent, so hopefully you've already established that rapport where they trust you by the time you get to this part. But you'll be able to see all of those magnets. You'll be able to see, you know, huge furniture in the room, so you'll know pretty much the condition of the property and the speed of the sale once the property is listed. Does everybody go ahead?
sometimes I even ask, have you ever watched the HGTV from time to time? Like the finished product when they finish their renovations or construction? Just, and of course they would say yes. And so I'm like, we need to kind of make that first impression a lasting impression.
Yes, what you say is every buyer has to. So
Yes.
every buyer is looking to move into an HGTV ready home. So we want to make sure that our homes are depersonalized. We want to make sure that everything is in its proper place. So when they walk in the door or they see the videos or the pictures of your home, they're ready to buy.
Right.
It'll make that lasting impression. I'm scrolling through this. I want you guys to read it because the next part is for you to say, you know, what ahas are you seeing in this pre-listing package that maybe you have not thought about before or you haven't seen before. Or maybe once we finish, you'll say, okay, where's that again? How can I utilize that for my business? So get ready to sell. Prices. A well-priced home creates interest. It attracts buyer. Underpriced home attracts even more buyers and may sell quickly. You may get that auction effect. However, it can also have a negative effect where they'd be like, okay, well, what's wrong with the property? Is it a foreclosure? Does it have plumbing issues? It just really depends. You want to make sure that you price the home correctly and you don't leave any money on the table. Has everybody seen this pyramid before?
Yes, I have.
Yes.
I know Bold has, and the seasoned agents probably have. What about the new agents? Have y'all seen this before?
I
Ms.
have
Gail?
not. No, I have not.
No,
Bree?
I haven't seen
Ashley?
it.
Okay,
No.
awesome. So pretty much what this is saying, and this is all, like I said, in your pre-listing presentation, is that these are homes that are priced at market value. So if you go in there and you look at your CMAs and you're doing the average price home just in general, the market value, most homes are priced somewhere in between this range. So once you have that, you're looking at about 60% of the buyers. So when you price your home at market value, you're always going to have a buyer that's going to look a little bit above their range, but you'll capture all of the 60% of buyers that are looking for a home in that price range and everybody below it. If you price your home at 10% below the market value of that property, you'll capture 75% of all buyers that are looking for a home like yours on the market at that given time that it's listed. And if it's 15% below the market value, you'll capture 90% of all buyers. And of course, it could increase the speed of the sale, and it would also could create an auction effect where they'll say, oh my God, this home is priced extremely low in this area, I have to have it. And now you're going highest and best with multiple buyers that are fighting, for that house. So it really depends on the motivation of the seller, the risk that they're willing to take, and how fast they're looking to move out. So if you have a buyer that says, I need to leave now, I'm about to foreclose or something like that, then I'm not going to tell them to price it 15% above the market value of property, because they're only going to have 10% of buyers looking at their home because it's overpriced. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes, it does.
Yes.
Okay. So this is what we kind of said earlier, Ms. Joan. Get ready to sell. You want it in selling condition. So you never get a second chance to make a first impression. It's the same with property. It's the same in person, when we're meeting with sellers. So take a moment and read over this slide.
It's kind of like it's a
The
small.
print is
Small.
yeah.
Y'all
Look
can
at-
see it?
Even with there we go. That's so much better. Yes. There it is. We're good.
And then again, she emailed it to us. Yes, no?
No, she emailed it?
Oh, I'm not, I'm not sure.
Oh, I don't know. I have all these tabs open. So, so how many of you guys use this? Most buyers make a decision about property they see within the first 15 seconds of entering the home.
I do, but are we still talking about pre-listing or now we're talking about the listing aspect of it?
No, this is pre-listing package. This is information that's in your pre-listing toolkit. This is your
okay.
actual document that you're sending to the seller.
Right. Okay. So what you are talking about now, these are conversations that I don't have in the pre-listing conversation. This is more like the actual listing consultation is when I have these conversations.
So do you think that if you sent this, because this is already pre-done, if you sent this to a seller prior to you actually going over to them for the listing presentation, is something they've already seen, is going to do one or two things?
I guess, and maybe my mindset is different, and somebody can definitely help out. But how many pages is this pre-listing?
8, I believe. 8.
So probably more than likely, I don't know. Most sellers out there are not gonna sit there and read 8 pages. They're not gonna do it, because even if you say, "Did you get a chance to look over?" "Oh, I kind of looked at it. I've just been so busy, blah blah blah." So, I just send them maybe 1 or 2 pages at the most, because really the attention span of them sitting there and reading all of that 8 pages, more than likely they're not going to do it. Not that all people, are not going to do it, because there are some that are very meticulous and they're very, very refined, and everything, and so they're going to read everything. But yeah.
So that's when you get into your DISC profiles, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know who your clients are.
Right.
You got your high D's, your I's, your C's, and your S.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if everybody's familiar with, your DISC profiles, but you might have, like you're talking about, that high I or S. I'm not really worried about it. I trust you. I like you. No confrontation. They might not read it. But see those D's? They want everything. Those C's that are analytical. Oh, shucks. Those analyticals, those engineers, they will sit and read every line by line that you send them, and you better make sure that when you go there, everything that you say matches what you sent. Has anybody had that happen to them?
Yes.
Yes.
So you have to know your material. So like they say, if it happens once, you make a note. It happens twice, you make a system. So somebody caught me slipping, and I was hurrying up. I said, "Oh, they already have it. Let me hurry up and go and send it to them." And they got to my marketing plan, and they were like, "Oh, well, you said you were going to do this, 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 and this, and you were going to call me, at every day to do a check-in." I was like, "Oh no, I can't do daily check-ins. I can do once a week or every other week, depending on how they price their home. But make sure that you read it." Any ahas about this? Most buyers make their decisions within the first 15 seconds. No one? Has any buyer told you that they made their decision when they first walked through the door?
There are some, like the moment they walk in, they're like, that emotional side, kicks in. Oh, I want it. I love it. Without fully seeing the property. I don't know. What's your question, Rihanna? I don't know.
Well, I'm saying that because I set them both up. When I'm working with buyers and when I'm working with sellers. So I can say this confidently when I'm talking to sellers, that in my buyer consultations, I'm telling them that most buyers make their decision on buying a home within the first 5 seconds. I didn't know it was 15. I say 5 seconds of walking through the door. You will walk in and you will know that you're home. So don't be afraid. And I say, the average number of homes that we show are between 5 and 7. So don't be afraid if you walk through the house on the first home that you walk through, that is your home, instantly. And I say that because every time I go out and I show a buyer, every last one of them, 100%, I have not had one buyer yet that has not told me, this is it. This is it. When they walk through, they tell me, I set them up, and they turn around and it's like, Ree, this is it. I love going home. This is it. It's so bad and that I had a buyer walk in a house that I hated. And I was like, no, ma'am. And she was like, this is the one. You told me I would know within the first 5 seconds of walking through the door that this was my house. And this is it. I could not convince her. And I was like, you know what? You're right. If this is your home for whatever reason, it's yours. And we're going to do whatever it takes to get you under contract. So,
and you see, that's kind of a downfall for me, because from years of experience, when I'm working with a buyer, even though they go by what they see in the very beginning, I still counsel them, basically, let's take a look at some of the main things that, we don't want to be concerned about. Let's think about, various things on the disclosure or stuff like that, or walking around the house. I guess, I don't know.
Each one is different.
Yeah.
However, we have those disclosures. So for me, prep work ahead of time is better than, it saves me time in the long run. So before we even go and look at property, we've already gone over the disclosures and we've ruled out properties that have major problems on the disclosures before we get in there. When we get in there, we're looking for termites, we're looking for foundation stuff that the seller may not have put on there because they don't know or they don't want to disclose, or they've patched up. Those are the things that we're looking for when we're walking through the home. But back to this, so we've done some of that legwork ahead of time to where when we get to the property, it's a little bit easier. It kind of saves time in helping them to find that home that they love. Okay. I say that to flip it right back to the seller appointments. When I'm doing the seller consultations or listings appointments, I'll say, you know what, when I'm working with buyers, I tell them that they're going to fall in love with the home within the first 5 seconds of them walking through the door. They're going to say, Ree, I love going home. If your house looks like this and is not HGTV ready, they are not going to love their home. Ignore the noise. They're not going to love going home. They're not going to love it. they're not gonna make their decision to buy your home. So do you want to be a home that sits, or do you want to sell your home? So that's how you kind of push them through that motivation to actually declutter, to depersonalize, and to move that big furniture out of the living room into the garage, or give them an iPod discount for 10% off through KW. Because we know that homes in great condition attract more interest. Again, staging makes the difference.
Yeah.
And you want them to stand out from the crowd. So, any of you ask the sellers questions
Well, yes.
ahead of time? What are their expectations for the listing agent?
Oh, concerning that, I thought it was about the property. No.
Okay.
Sometimes when it's like a relist, yes, I double, I'll ask some deep questions. Because if the first agent didn't get it to sell, then I need to find the underlying reason. Was it with them? Was it with the house? So I ask probing questions.
Absolutely. So you want to make sure that you find out from the sellers their motivation. What are they looking for in an agent to make sure that you can meet the needs of that agent? If they've had a previous real estate agent that didn't work, why? What didn't work for them? Did they not return their phone calls? Did they not answer? You want to make sure that you isolate their objections so you can make sure that you prepare for the listing agreement, the listing consultation, a presentation, and you put that in there. So I've already asked you these questions ahead of time. Now I know what you're looking for in an agent. So now I'm going to be that agent that you're looking for. And I have a system in place to communicate with you on a weekly basis, or, well, there you go, weekly, twice a month, after each showing, after each open house. You want to make sure that you're contacting your sellers and letting them know what the feedback is. And then this is your, the page that you can delete if you don't have it. And I just pulled this from the toolkit. I'll show you mine in the end if anybody is interested. So let me see if I can get back to the slideshow. Okay. So any ahas from the pre-listing packet? Ashley? Just checking if you're there. Bree? Ms. Gail? Everybody went to sleep on me?
No, I'm here.
Y'all know I can't see. All right. So now that we've done the listing, pre-listing, now let's get to the good part, right? The listing presentation. Does anybody want to do role play with the pre-qualifying script? Who's confident in their pre-list script that they're ready to practice? No one?
Well, I've
Joan,
been told
go for it, Joan.
change. No,
Joan, I nominate Joan and Renee.
No, ma'am. No fair. No fair.
No, we're the new people.
Yeah, that's my
right.
point. No fair. No fair. Mr. Jimmy, where you at? Oh, you left.
Yeah, we need to see the experts.
Oh, Give it to me. Anybody there?
Well, guys, actually,
I'm
I
here.
got a hop. So,
Okay.
Renata, thanks so much.
No problem. Thank you. So for your pre-listing, your listing presentations, everybody know where to get theirs?
Yeah, in the KW command, yes. We know where to go to get that, yes.
All the newbies know where to go?
Yes,
KW
ma'am.
command, she just said.
Okay. I had a problem finding mine last night in KW command, so I didn't know if y'all had actually gone there. So have you gone there yet?
I have not. Did you find it eventually? Or should I go somewhere else?
No, it's in there,
Okay.
but they have deactivated eEdge, so you can't go there anymore.
Okay.
But if you go to your command, hover over KW, go down to, let me see if I can pull it up. So there's your pre-listing questionnaire. There we go. Oh man. There is, you can go to command and, I'll just pull it up again. Agent. Go to KW, go to designs. Not mistaken.
Print. I think it's print and then
Yeah, print.
clicking.
No, it's not. It's not.
the
It's
right
that.
click and then the plus sign or something.
Yeah, you gotta go down to the plus sign first.
Yeah.
So once you get here, you don't just go to, you go to the plus sign to the bottom. Let me see if I can take this off. Go to the plus sign to the bottom, then go to print.
Mhm.
Next. So what happened? And can y'all see that?
Yeah. Can't reach this page.
So you go there, and then you can go back to, it'll have listing presentations to the side right here. This will be the next page, listing presentations. There's two, and you have the templates that you can send over.
Okay, thanks.
All right. So this session asks for role play on going over the listing presentation with a potential seller. Do you guys have in your elements book pages 6 and 7?
I'm looking, I'm checking now. Let's see what we have. Yep, I have page 6 and 7.
I'm just gonna kill you. Ms. Joan, any of the
What
new
we doing?
participants, any of the newbies have the, I don't want to say newbies because you're not newbies, but do y'all have, it's in Element Script book, pages 6 and 7.
Why are we looking for this?
Because it's scripts and role play.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we already have the scripts.
Okay, so do you want us to go do the scripts? Okay, we can do it. Come on, Joan, let's just.
I gotta find
Well,
it.
I'm gonna be honest. How can I say this really nicely? The scripts, you have to internalize the scripts and know your scripts in order to successfully have a listing or secure the listing. And that's pretty much all it's about, all it's about. Knowing your scripts, being prepared, sending over the listing presentation, knowing what's on your listing presentation or your pre-listing packet, so you're prepared for your listing, your listing appointment. And when you get to the listing appointment, being on time, and having your CMAs together, having the property sheets, knowing what their comparables are, being able to provide them value with staging, and being confident that you can get the job done. That's really what it comes down to, having a relationship. These scripts are different from the scripts that we have in Bold, but if you don't have scripts, if you don't know what to say, these are a great place to start.